Okay, so I'm going to make a barrel for a wheel. Just going to start with a simple circle, going to rotate it to my view, and I'm going to zoom in. Obviously, you would have changed the number of vertices to suit your wheel, but I'm just here to make a rim. So starting here, we'll go tab to edit mode. I'm going to pretend like I've got this nice lip on here, so we go ES. No. Push the right buttons. Oh, put my keys in the right spot. ES, and I'm scaling that down. I just undid that. Solid. Scale, ES, scale down, and that's still looking. There we go. It's just because it's on the inside. Edge mode. Click EX there, and then E scale down, GX. So this might be the edge of your wheel, and pretend like you got spokes in here, but I'm not making that at this point in time. And then I will extrude EX. So this is the barrel of my wheel. Now, rather than trying to make this edge again and making it identical, which is just about impossible, I'm going to duplicate it. So I've switched to face mode. I'm going to Alt click or Option click if you're on a Mac, and I'm just highlighting this edge here. So I've got those three parts, and I'm going to duplicate. So I'm going to push Shift D to duplicate, and you'll see I've got a copy. If I right click, it'll go back to where it started. Right click right there. So I'm now going to go GX, so I've moved it in the X axis, and this part here you'll see is the shape of this side. So depending on which side you're looking at, I'm going to scale it in the red axis -1. So I'm going to push S for scale and then go X for the X axis. So you'll see the pink line running left and right, but you don't really see me push the X. And then I'll go -1, which again you unfortunately don't see on the screencast, but you'll see that it's flipped left and right, and I push enter to return to lock it in. I'm going to go GX and put it as close as I can, but it doesn't have to be exactly on there. Now, there's a couple of ways to join it. One would be a pretty boring way of going, there we go, edge mode and edge to there, and then fill, and then you'd click this one and then push F as many times as it takes to get all the way around. I wouldn't recommend that. I'll just show you a slightly different method. I would recommend, that's not what I wanted to press. I would get Option click that edge and Shift Option click that edge. So I've got both of them. And then I'm going to bridge edge loops. So you can either do that from the edge menu up here, bridge edge loops, or you can search for that. So searching is F3. And if you've got a keyboard that has all your function keys with extra things such as switching to multiple tabs or something like that, then you'll have to hold down the key that says FN and then F3, and it brings up the search. So you might then go bridge, BRIDGE, bridge edge loops. On a Mac, it'll be Command E. So anyway, we're bridging edge loops, and you'll see now that they have joined. I don't need this edge where it is, so I will highlight that one with an Option click, and then I'll dissolve it, X, and instead of deleting, I'm going down to dissolve edges. So that's now dissolved. Now for this barrel, I'm just going to put a tiny little dip in it, and the best thing to do is loop cut with an uneven number. So that would work. I'll put a few more. There we go, 5. I go to edge select, and I'm going to Option click this group, or Alt click, and then I'm going to scale this down. So I'm going to turn proportional editing on by pushing O, but you'll see up here that's the button, and then next to it is the fall off. So we can change the shape exactly of how that falls. So if I scale this in the axes, the blue and the green, but not red. So I'm going to go S for scale, but Shift X. And you'll see the blue and green lines there. So what's happening is it's scaling and everything except for the X. My proportional editing circle is too big. So here you'll see it's too small. And then I'm essentially just trying to get it to this point, but not so far that it adjusts the edges. So there's fine. And that essentially will do for my purposes. I recommend we highlight this entire part. You can then duplicate this, so I might go Shift D to duplicate. I've got a copy, right click, and it's back in its place. Now I'm going to scale it, but not on the red axis. Scale, Shift X, and that makes a smaller one, but proportional editing's affecting it, so I'm going to push O to turn proportional editing off. Scale, Shift X again, and this is my inner layer. So if I made that exaggerated, you'll see it's clearly separate, but we want to make that essentially the distance away from the outer side, so that we could then go to join it up. Scale, Shift X, make it a bit bigger, and as necessary you could go around and join those parts up. There are other methods to do this, but I think that will largely meet your needs. I hope this is helpful.